for Jeff and I to go live, and all of a sudden there's all these tears in my eyes, and I'm going to tell you why as soon as I invite you, whether you're here with us live Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or you're watching this on a replay. Take a breath, hit the share button for me, because you're gonna want others to be part of whatever this is that's about to happen. And I just told Jeff that of all these Facebook Lives, and I think this is the 5th one I've done since I began less than a week ago, this one I've chosen not to formally prepare for, because a Facebook Live that Jeff and I did a year and a half ago, 3 conferences ago, essentially completely changed my world, right? Because I didn't know who Jeff was when I got the assignment or the request for him and I to meet, to do this Facebook Live, to invite people to whatever that conference was a year and a half ago. My whole heart, within minutes of us beginning a conversation, right? My heart cracked open. My body started to shake. I started to cry. I didn't know why, but I took it as an invitation to learn about Jeff's work. And essentially since then, I was laughing. I told Jeff I know him much better than he knows me, because I've done and have been saying yes to his work of Avita Yoga now for about a year and a half. I spend about an hour with him, sometimes a little bit more than that, every single day, almost without exception. And I notice when I don't. and my whole system, people, I'm getting younger physically. There's no question about that. I've gotten more relaxed, more open, less interested in problem solving. I'm not really interested in responding to, because I didn't know, I didn't know how much my body was holding before this experience began. And so I'm less interested in what the mind has to tell me about this practice, and much, much more interested and curious and in love with what I'm learning by saying yes to the Avita Yoga practice. So we get to do it during the conference. You get to be exposed to this work. You don't have to pay for anything. You just really have to register and come being willing for something new. And so it's a joy. I don't think anyone else in our organization has ever played your admin or your host since that first day when Spirit brought us together. It rocks my world every single day. So that's my introduction to Jeff Valley and the desire, my desire for everyone at the sound of my voice to come and experience your work during the upcoming conference. Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Wow. Thank you so much, Cindy. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing and expressing. You know, it's what a gift it is to be able to express ourselves and share this openly. And even though it's live on Facebook and the whole world is watching, it's intimately. Isn't that beautiful? That all intimacy is really self-intimacy of opening up to the vertical channel, our divine connection. And thank you too for sharing about how the Avita practice stirred something in your body right off the bat. And we know that implications, effects, sticky things in the body are always some ramification of a thought we hold in mind, thoughts that precede emotions even. So it's the timeless yoga, you know, and the Yoga Sutras always come up in our discussions, but that's the yoga. It's all yoga of the mind, but we use the body to access it. And how beautiful to find a a restriction. See, isn't that funny? We're all trying to get rid of the restriction. We're trying to push it out or take something for it. We want to push it away. But once you welcome it and have that kind of healing aha experience that you're talking about, then you begin to just welcome it all. And that's why I'll oftentimes say in the Evita practice, everything is welcome. You close your eyes, you come into a very doable shape that brings up a little bit of sensation. We don't push for sensation. We don't try to accomplish shapes. We don't, like you said a moment ago, Cindy, we don't try to solve problems. That's part of the trap. And what a gift and what a blessing it is to be able to use our bodies in this remarkably gentle way, where we stop pushing on it, we stop demanding of it, and we begin to use it like an antenna. You know, we use these shapes. Sometimes I'm in a shape and I think it's just like an antenna, and I'll maybe have my knee to my chest, you know, and I'll move it just a millimeter, and like, okay, there it is. There's the connection through my knee, through my hip, to my mind, where I can begin to bring it up and release it. And that's the practice. You know, Rumi said it best: seek not for love, but seek, find, and remove the barriers to it. So, is there anything that you want to share, Cindy? I can just keep on rolling.
Well, you know, here's the thing. Yesterday afternoon, I did a Facebook Live with Shakti. Her name is 𝙊𝙘𝙘𝙚𝙚. I get it right now. And so her yoga tradition is different. She's looking at chanting and connection, and you again using the body. And the reason I bring this up is because we were talking about, and before we leave, we're going to talk about your session and where Avita Yoga came from if you want to, but I asked her about the body, and because friends and I are having this conversation about whether or not you can consider the body as a barrier, as something that the ego created for separation, or if it's a tool, or how to use it, and all these things. And she called, and this is why it's coming up, and this is why the tears are back, and the hair is standing on the hair is standing up on my arm, right? I asked her to talk to me about the body, right? And she literally stated, the body is a miracle, right? It's this formlessness has found a way to create form, to have an experience, and that's the body. So to embrace it, to call it a miracle, to be in this, to use the body to experience the miracle, was some of what she was talking about yesterday. And here, when you were preparing for this Facebook Live, you told me beforehand that that word miracle was coming up. So I would love to know what that means to you relative to who you are, your work, what you're going to be bringing to the Pure Presence Conference, how it relates to your yoga, and whatever else comes through.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I guess before we went live here, I was sharing the miracles that have just been pouring through my life recently, ever since I made the decision to sell Yoga Loft, a studio that I had in Boulder. I just sold it the middle of May. And so it hasn't been that long. And we had bought this old bank building 5 years ago. This is a space that holds about 20 people on the floor. And we bought it about 5 years ago, just wanting to have this premonition, really, a little hunch that it might become a yoga studio someday. And it's been 5 years. We tinker with it. We do a little work here and there. And slowly we've rehabbed it. It was very beat up. It had been turned into an apartment building. And so, well, not an apartment building. They had a makeshift living space in here. That's the vault right there. That's pretty cool. It's a old brick vault where we keep all of our props now. Very safe. So the phrase that's coming up right out of the Course, as you know, Cindy, miracles are involuntary. We can't make them happen. But we can open our eyes and open our ears and open our hearts to everything to let the miracle come through. And so that's how I see the body, as a vehicle for miracles. Course also says that everything the ego made to harm or to separate, the Holy Spirit can use to join. And I love that word. That word to join was what, after asking that enough, is what led me to the Course. And it's just such a universal concept. It's not to join in bodies. Like, I can't have all 8 billion people now come to my yoga studio or even go online to practice with me or practice with anyone, but we can join in mind. And that's where this whole idea of welcoming everything. And if we welcome everything, then what's left to judge as evil or wrong or not right? So it's very easy for the ego to use the body as an obstacle or barrier to peace. And that's what both pain and pleasure is for in the ego's perspective. So, yeah, let me say, not much makes the body more real than a stubbed toe or some pain in the body. And so with the Avita yoga practice, we come into these shapes where we welcome all of that and really start to change our perception of the body as something that is an end point in and of itself. Like, I do everything for myself. I do everything for my body. And I'm sorry to say, but that's what keeps us imprisoned. It's such a trick that the ego plays, that I want to be more comfortable in my body and have more pleasure in my life for my own separate individual sake. And it comes with such immense cost. The Course would say it costs us everything. And yet we think we're getting something. And so to turn that coin over, to turn it over and begin to look at it as a vehicle to undo and to join in the oneness we share is the undoing of restriction. It's the undoing of limitation. It's the undoing of pain. It's actually also the undoing of worldly pleasure. Of course, says all pleasure comes by doing God's will. And so again, it's joining and it's aligning and tuning in with that deep intuition, that stream of loving thought that is the miracle. And that just brings so much healing, not just to ourselves, but to the entire world. So, that's, to me, the spiritual practice, whether you do something with your body in a yoga class or in a fitness class or whatever, whether you do something with your body specifically or not, it doesn't matter. You don't even have to move a finger, because it's all at the level of the mind. And that's where the healing occurs. And sometimes that healing comes through the body as a healing symptom or like a healing side effect, where, like what you're experiencing, Sandy, and what I've experienced in so many ways, where your body becomes younger, you're more mobile, you're more healthy, you're more free in your body. But it is truly a side effect of the real healing that happens only in mind. And so nothing about the Avita practice violates that. I've been teaching it now for years, and there is no compromise in that. We can't compromise that in the slightest with our purpose and our intention. Otherwise, we slip right into the ego's rut. And and while it can seem kind of exciting and helpful, it quite honestly never has our best interest in mind. In the end, there's always a cost that comes with it. And so, yeah, it's just that miracle of wanting only that and then waiting and watching. Yeah.
Pretty cool. So tell me, I've been to yoga with you every day, and we've done workshops together and all of the conferences since you first came and joined Pure Presence. Your session, there's only one session this weekend, so please register and come visit us.
Yeah.
I heard a hint that we're going to be focusing on feet. So can you tell us what people should know about coming to spend this session with you, and why feet?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the inspiration behind it was that, what is it, Cindy? Is this my fourth time at the conference? Something like that, third or fourth?
I think it's the third or fourth. It's
we lost
we've
count.
done workshops, we've done all sorts of things together. So
yeah, I've learned to, in this practice, one of the real joys I have with it is meeting people where they are. So when they come into the room, in fact, this weekend I'm having a grand opening. We just are opening this weekend, and I'm going to have all brand new students walking in here. And speaking of miracles, I'll share a quick miracle. I was just at this house where where several of the teacher trainees coming to the event will be staying. And the woman was still in there cleaning. And I was going back to my car, and then I just got this inspirational hit. I said, I got to give her a flyer. So I went and gave her a flyer, and she just lit up. And she said, oh my God, I've been looking for yoga because somebody told me it would be good for my scoliosis. So it's just another example of sharing the inspiration that comes through us. But the yoga for the feet is, so it's number one is meeting people where they're at. And I know a lot of people come to this, to the Pure Presence conference, sitting in a chair. That's how most of us view Zoom sessions. We don't think to bring a mat, and we're not coming with all the props and everything that you typically think of you need for yoga. And so I've taught in that way, increasingly meeting people where they are in this practice. Who knows what's going to come next? Well, I kind of do. I think we're going to work on hands and shoulders next, that you can all do seated, most of it. So we all can do the footwork sitting in a chair, believe it or not. All you got to do is kick your shoes off, and you'll be able to enjoy some really quite nice footwork. If you have the availability to get down on the floor, you might come prepared to do that. But so it's meeting people where they are, working with the feet in a very simple way, and we will get results with it. It's really cool. It's our foundation. That's number two. Feet are our foundation to the body. And so metaphorically speaking, they're the foundation to the body, but what's foundational to all is spirit and the love and light we share. So there's an analogy there that I'm going to play with between foundation, feet, and the truth we share. Whoops, Cindy, I don't think I can hear you.
For that, now you can though, right?
Yeah.
Jeff is one of 25 speakers, musicians, yoga instructors from all sorts of traditions, like all geared to give you the type of experience you're looking for. Like if you have been trying to figure out why you're here and where you're going, and you're done with all of that, man, we want to see you at the conference. Let's put it that way. I still have this vision of Jeff and his wife dancing, because that's the other thing that's a pretty big thing about this conference, right? It becomes a party. And there's quite a few people that I would call dear friends now that I've met at these conferences, which is kind of neat thing to say about a Zoom get together, but it's still true. And so if you're hearing my voice, if you're anything about this conversation with Jeff has sparked your interest, then just go ahead and register and share with your friends and come to the yoga sessions. There'll be two. There'll be one with Jeff and there'll be another one with one of Jeff's students, and have some fun. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Jeff, before we let everybody go?
Just a big thank you, Cindy, to you and Bill and all the folks at Pure Presence. And what a gift to be able to share this. And I just feel so much love and gratitude for the warm welcome that I always get from you and being able to share this. So thank you.
I have nothing but love and gratitude. So if you hear, and I'll go back and read all the comments. If you have any questions, there will be time for a Q&A during Jeff's session. If there's anything you want to know about beforehand, we're fairly easy to find. We have, Jeff, I don't know if I told you this one, there's over 2,000 people that have already registered to come and be part of this experience, September 16th, 17th, and 18th. So if you haven't registered yet, we would love to have you. We have plenty of space and we make sure there's room for everyone. So please come hang out with us. You're definitely going to get ahas. I wouldn't be surprised if you too, more than once, find the hair on your arm standing up, because there's something, there's something that's calling you home. All right. Anything else, Jeff?
Thank you so much, Cindy. Yeah, all my love.
And all my love to all of you. All right, here we go.